Hello and welcome to the Goiânia International Circuit, where we are going to start from now on the first race of the 2024 Porsche Cup C6 Bank Mastercard Championship. First we'll show the first race of this weekend in the Carrera Cup, then the first race of the season and this weekend as well of Sprint Challenge. It's 2 races per each round. First race on Saturday, second race on Sunday. There you have 3,835 meters. This circuit in Goiânia, 32 degrees centigrade. The track is 49 degrees centigrade. It's a lot warmer, a lot hotter than this morning when we showed the qualifying. You'll be watching these races with Mr. Delago, with Carlos Costa. Hello, Carlos. We had a great qualifying session, and now it's time where it all counts. First race of the season of this 2024 Mastercard Porsche Cup Mastercard season, and it's also the 20th season of Porsche Cup Brasil, Carlos.
Hello, Sergio. Very big pleasure to be here with you to broadcast one more season of the Brazilian Porsche Cup Series. As you said, the 2024 campaign will be the 20th championship of this series. The category started in 2005 from the very beginning, already as a support event of the Brazilian Formula 1 Grand Prix, which is still the case. High level of competitiveness, good driver lineup, especially in the Porsche Carrera Cup Championship. That is the race that we'll watch first in this broadcast Saturday. We have also tomorrow the Sunday races. As we see that there are a little bit more clouds now than earlier today, hotter as well. So let's see if there's no rain throughout our transmission. Of course, we have to remember that after the Porsche Carrera Cup race, we'll have the Porsche Sprint Challenge race as well. But anyway, it will be interesting to see kickstarting the 2024 season as we see once more the information about the weather and a lot of interesting names and reasonable probability of rain there. The forecast is not that good if we consider that we have 2 back-to-back races, Porsche Carrera Cup and Porsche Sprint Challenge, Sergio.
Yes, exactly, Carlos. These two are our fellow commentators and narrator, Luke Monteiro and Thiago Mendonça. They do the broadcast for Brazil as we see cars leaving the pits in the Goiânia International Racetrack. Number 544 started the year well. Marcel Miller will be the pole position for this race, and he will start along Werner Neugebauer. So this will be the first race.
Oi, Luke,
it's always a very interesting race. And let's listen from Gabi, our pit report.
Trocar essa figurinha com vocês numa competição tão especial, uma competição que o senhor conhece muito bem, são 15 anos na categoria. E é o seguinte, tô vendo vocês falando que a chuva tá chegando, já chegou, gente. O cabelo da repórter já tá molhado, os braços também. E vocês veem aí no céu as imagens do Sandro já escurecendo. A previsão era para 6 da tarde, mas a chuva já tá por aqui. Vamos ver qual vai ser o impacto disso na corrida.
She says that we already have some raindrops. Rain was expected for around 6 p.m. Brazilian time in around 4 hours from now. But we have a tricky situation already. So let's wait and see. Gabi Guimarães reporting the weather situation. It will be a concern to say the least, Sergio.
Exactly, and we might need a change of tires, Carlos. So, like you said, let's wait and see. That's the pole position car. This is Christian Fittipaldi. Christian Fittipaldi will start 14th, I believe. He is participating so far only of these 2 first races of the championship in honor of his late father, Wilson Fittipaldi Jr., who passed away a couple of weeks ago. He got sick. He got a problem during Christmas Day, which also was his birthday. He went to the hospital and unfortunately he passed away. We all know him. He is one of the legendary names of international motorsports. He created the Brazilian Formula One team, where he raced alongside his brother Emerson Fittipaldi in the car named Copersucar after Emerson was two-time champion. Let's listen to the clip.
Está valendo a temporada 2023 da Porsche Cup. E olha o mergulho colocado e olha quem vem para ser o líder. É sensacional a pilotagem. Não aliviou na corrida.
Yeah, this moment highlights of the 2023 season. Crashes, overtaking maneuvers. There we see Antonella Bassani, champion
Eu
of the
vou
World
pro grid, Henrique.
Championship. And of course, we expect the same for 2024, once more with two championships, the Sprint Championship, that is the event of this weekend, also the Endurance Championship throughout the year, with two 300 kilometers races and the 500 kilometers race, the final season finale at Interlagos, and of course, a lot of emotions to come that we can expect for sure.
Yes, one more season. The Sprint Championship will have, as always, 6 rounds, 2 races for each round, and we will also be showing the Endurance Championship, which consists of 3 rounds through 300 kilometers rounds and one 500 kilometers round. So it's the total of 9 races. There you see all these 9 races. So the next race will be in about a month, in the very beginning of April, and it will be at Velocità, which is a racetrack in the interior of São Paulo. And then the third race, the third sprint race, will be in Interlagos. And like Carlos mentioned, the last sprint race will be in Interlagos as well. It will be 3 races in Interlagos in this year's championship, but the third one on 2 and 3 of November will be a preliminary for the Formula One race. So that's always a great event and a great opportunity for the drivers and for Porsche Cup Brazil to be exposed to a broader public, Carlos.
Yeah, nice to see Porsche returning to Portugal in the Estoril round. It will be back-to-back weekends there before we go back to Brazil at Interlagos. First the endurance round and then the sprint round. Also a trip to Argentina. We don't have the confirmation on the calendar, but it tends to be at the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. That is the venue of the Argentinian GP of MotoGP. Of course, the event of motorcycling will not happen this year because of internal issues in Argentina. But anyway, a nice calendar, the top tracks of Brazil. Also important to highlight the fact that we have 2 trips to other countries this year. The last couple of seasons we had the Termas de Rio Hondo rounds, but not the Estoril one. And now Porsche goes back to Portugal. Estoril, a very traditional circuit, former venue of the Portugal Formula One Grand Prix, and the expectation is quite good, also considering the Brazilian tracks, Velocità, quite different from Goiânia actually. Goiânia is a high-speed circuit, Velocità low speed mainly circuit, and a very technical one, Interlagos. Well, we don't have to talk that much about the venue of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And of course, your highlight is important as well, the final round of the Sprint Championship as the support event of the Formula One Grand Prix at Interlagos. So a lot to expect, and we can all obviously assume that there will be a lot of emotions, as we saw in the clip that was shown about the 2023 season, Sergio.
Yes, that's it, Carlos. Remembering we'll first have this race for the Carrera Cup. It's always like that. First we have a Carrera Cup, and then we have Sprint Challenge. And each of these 2 categories have 3 classes. The main class, which everybody can win, and then we have the sport class and the rookie class. Israel Salman got a great time. He is going to be the pole position for the rookie class in the Carrera Cup. Last year he was competing in the sprint challenge. And then we have Lineu Pires, who will be the pole position for the sport class. A great effort by Lineu Pires. He was not the fastest among the sport classes drivers in the first qualifying round, but he got this in the qualifying round that defined the pole position. And there's the pole position, the overall pole position. That's Marçal Miller in the number 544. He was runner-up. He was champion already in the category, but his last great achievement was in 2022 when he was runner-up. So that's Marçal Miller commemorating his first pole position. This year, he's one of the traditional drivers of Porsche Cup Brasil. Carlos, if we can say so, it's a group of drivers, né? That we see
Luke, tô ao
every
lado
year
dele, Marçal
in and
Miller, que
out,
no
and
treino
they
livre
still
ontem
participate.
já tinha feito
And there
o
it's
segundo
again the
melhor
clouds.
tempo, hoje
Gabi.
garantiu a sua posição como o pole position, larga aqui na frente. Marçal, te perguntava há pouco sobre a chuva, mas você está confiante, já que é a mesma coisa para todo mundo, não é não?
Aqui como não tem estratégia de pit, né, então todo mundo sempre anda com o mesmo pneu. E aqui o foco então é tentar fazer a melhor performance possível, independente se for no seco ou na chuva. Claro que não é muito agradável quando começa a chover no meio de uma prova e tu tá de slick, mas vamos tentar fazer o nosso melhor aí, olhar para frente e tentar brigar por essa vitória.
A estratégia largando aqui na frente é um pouco mais ousada, é um pouco mais conservadora ou não tem muito isso não?
Eu já decidi que não adianta ficar planejando largada, que toda vez é diferente do planejado. Então eu vou tentar fazer o meu aqui, fazer uma largada segura, tentar me manter na liderança e depois imprimir um bom ritmo.
Tá certo, Marçal, muito obrigada, boa sorte, ótima corrida, tá aí a palavra dele, confiante, seguro, afinal de contas até aqui tá gabaritando o final de semana, né?
Yeah, there we heard from Marçal Miller, as Sergio said, former champion of Porsche Cup Brazil, kickstarting the 2024 campaign in a very good fashion with the pole position of the first round. Goiânia was clouds. Asking about the weather. Gabi Guimarães asked if there's any different strategy of that regard, but Marçal highlighted that given the fact that the series doesn't have any mandatory pit stop or tire change, everyone will be with the same tire in the beginning of the race, and then if it starts raining, of course the situation gets tricky, but he said that it doesn't make any sense to plan anything in advance. He has to see what happens. As we see there, Miguel Paludo alongside Mr. Rick Brent, his sponsor from the US, and it will be an interesting start of race one, I believe, because we have a former champion and the guy with most titles and most race wins, that is Miguel Paludo. So we can expect an interesting start of race this Saturday. As we see there, Lineu Pires, the pole sitter of the sport class, alongside Beto Gressi and Denis Girani, driver coaches, in Porsche Brazil.
Yes, and these clouds, Carlos, are still there, and it's a doubt. I would say we might have this race delayed a little bit due to these clouds. Right now, everything's okay. This is Werner Neugebauer, the driver who will start second.
É isso, é exatamente
alongside
isso, Luque. A gente
Marçal
está
Miller.
apurando aqui, eu e o Rodolfo Santos, meu parceiro na reportagem,
have a-
sobre
Gabi,
a
let's
desclassificação
listen
do
what she
Pedro Aguiar, o que pode mudar um pouquinho aqui a situação no grid. Já trago para vocês os detalhes do que foi decidido.
Yeah, Gabi Guimarães reporting that
Só uma
the
observação,
decision
o Pedro era o quarto
about the
lugar,
tires
né?
will
Estaria
be
no
made.
quarto lugar aqui na largada.
And we have to wait and see if there's the delay of the restart, because I believe that they are checking procedures and waiting a bit to see if the rain gets stronger. I believe that there are only some raindrops in this moment that are not making the track completely wet. So in this moment, Sergio, I would say that it is a situation for slick tires, but it can change very, very fastly.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Carlos. But as we know, these storms, they can come in a bit. Like in a second, we can see a huge storm or a huge rain pouring over the Goiânia International Circuit. But let's hope that everything goes well. Look how beautiful, Carlos, the grid is for Porsche Cup Brazil. It has two more
there's
cars
rain there.
than last year's. There is rain, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Christian Fittipaldi there.
The back, yeah, Christian Fittipaldi.
Yeah.
You talked about him, Sergio, and very nice this tribute that he's paying to Wilson Fittipaldi, his late father, with the layout of the car and the helmet in dedication to Wilson.
Seguinte, o Pedro Aguiar, ele foi para a sexta posição, como você vinha dizendo, caiu da quarta para a sexta por causa dessa desqualificação, né? Ele foi protestado por atrapalhar o Alceu Feldman na curva 0 no Qualify, então, portanto, perdeu o número da sua melhor volta.
Interesting update regarding Pedro Aguiar's starting position on the grid. He lost his fastest lap time of the qualifying session because of an incident of impeding. Alceu Feldman was the one that made the protest, and so Pedro Aguiar loses 2 spots on the grid, drops from 4th to 6th.
Yeah, so it was a penalty, but I would say not a huge penalty, Carlos, that will not impede Pedro Aguiar of getting a nice position at the end of the race. But of course, in such a competitive environment, losing 2 positions there, it's never good, because we know it's hard to overtake. There we see Edu Guedes, we talked a lot about him during the qualifying session. He's talking to Christian Fittipaldi there. And we see Marcel Miller already inside the car, and he's waiting there to the race. Lots of wind there. How it changed, Carlos. If you watch the qualifying with us, you remember the weather was beautiful. It had blue skies, and we could see easily Goiânia skyline at the end of the images. But now that's what it is above the Goiânia International Racetrack. So it might become a typical storm of this time of the year. March is known for having big storms, big summer storms in Brazil, end of summer or beginning of autumn. And there you see again, to the right, you have the car from Miguel Paludo. And actually, Carlos, I remember at the end, Werner Neugebauer appeared to have taken the second position from Miguel Paludo, but we see Miguel Paludo there in second.
Seguinte, tô aqui do lado do Christian Han. Chris Han, que eu já tô íntima aqui da modalidade. Há 2 anos, né, quando ele largou aqui em Goiânia, na primeira volta já ultrapassou logo 5 pilotos. Quero saber se vai repetir a dose hoje. Tudo bem, Cris?
Tudo ótimo, Gabi. Então, aquilo ali foi um dia onde teve uma ajudinha lá de cima. Vamos dizer assim que as águas se abriram na minha frente e ficou sobrando espaço, curva após curva, e acabei passando 5. Fui agressivo também, mas é sempre com cautela, né? Isso depende muito da sorte, o que os outros competidores vão fazer. Então é difícil falar que dá para repetir o feito, mas claro que eu quero que isso aconteça.
Cris, você falou que as águas se abriram. Cuidado com essas palavras, o céu tá ameaçando aí.
Premonição.
O Luke tá falando aqui que céu Moisés. O que implica isso, né? Até porque vocês estão todos com o mesmo pneu. É uma dificuldade a mais se chover, né?
Assim, se a gente estiver já no meio da disputa e cair a água de vez, a gente tem que ter muita cautela, porque com o pneu slick ele é aquaplana. Geralmente quando acontece isso, tem a bandeira vermelha, a gente entra, troca todo mundo o pneu e sai de novo. Porém, nesse meio tempo, até da bandeira vermelha, depois que cair a água, você tem que ter muita cautela para não sair da disputa, né?
É isso. Espero que você consiga abrir o caminho das águas. Cris, boa sorte, ótima corrida.
Obrigado.
Valeu.
Yeah, now darker clouds on the screen. Actually, Christian Han also talked about the weather forecast. He was talking about the procedures if there's rain, as we just saw Ricardo Mauricio there, a former Red Bull Junior and a 3-time Stock Car Pro Series Brazil champion, also a driver coach on Porsche Brazil. But Christian Han talked about the procedure, and he said that if there's big rain after the race start with slick tires, then it is a possibility that the race director will wave the red flag in order to stop the race. All cars go to the the pits and they change tires, and then we have a restart of the race. But it's always tricky if there's a strong rain. With slick tires, when you are returning to the pits, you can aquaplane. So drivers have to be careful in that matter. And he also talked about a lap that he was able to do at Goiânia. Once he was able to overtake 5 cars in the opening lap of the race. So let's see if he's able to do that once more. Sergio.
Yes, a presentation lap is due to start in about 6 minutes. If all goes according to planned, we are already, I know, a little bit late. At least we're a little bit late in starting our transmission. About 2 minutes, not a lot, but let's see if that reflects in the starting time of the presentation lap. And the race is scheduled to start at 2 minutes after the hour, so in about 8 minutes. But like we are saying, it will all depend on the weather while the drivers wait. I like this concentration of Marçal Miller. Carlos, he's totally concentrated. Actually, most of the drivers are there, are getting ready for the race. Not all of them, but at least Marçal Miller is there. He wants to win. That's what he's up to. He's already in the car. He's waiting there. We see also Miguel Paludo putting his gloves inside the car. So everything is getting ready for this first race of the 2024 season. That again, I highlighted. It's the 20th season of Porsche Cup Brazil, which is a big accomplishment for a category that started with mostly races in Interlagos, the main racetrack in Brazil, with not that many drivers, but grew up to have today 2 main categories, Carrera Cup and Sprint Challenge, that we were going to be watching right now, the first 2 races, the first race of each one of them. Tomorrow we see the second race, and also the Sprint Trophy, which is for beginners. Miguel Paludo
algum spoiler, digamos assim, para conseguir passar o Marçal. Tudo bem?
Tudo bem, boa tarde. Fazer uma boa largada é extremamente importante, uma reta longa aqui em Goiânia. Então tá ligado aí na hora que apagar o farol e procurar fazer uma largada limpa e se colocar em posição de ou conseguir passar ou defender a posição e atacar no momento certo. O tempo está mudando, grandes chances de chuva, então vamos ver o que vai acontecer.
Eu sei que as condições climáticas têm o mesmo impacto para todos vocês, até pela questão dos pneus, mas para você pessoalmente é uma facilidade, é uma adversidade? Como é que você se sente em caso de correr durante a chuva?
Não, eu gosto muito da chuva, mas toda vez que coloca nessa situação onde é uma incógnita, não sabe a quantidade de chuva, se troca para pneus de chuva ou se dá safety car, então tudo isso muda bastante. Vai ser muito esperar ver o que acontecer e tentar tomar as decisões certas.
Que você e sua equipe escolham a melhor estratégia. Obrigada, viu? Boa sorte. Valeu, tá aí a palavra de mais um campeão aqui da Porsche Cup Brasil, Miguel Paludo, confiante para correr na chuva, mas é isso, não sabe se vem, se não vem, então acaba ficando numa situação um pouco mais indefinida, Luque Monteiro.
Yeah, interesting chat there with Miguel Paludo. He actually highlighted that the most difficult thing is that the situation that we have right now, actually, because it's a big question mark. They don't know if there will be rain. Of course, dark clouds, and we see in the aerial views that there is rain quite close to the track, but apparently no raindrops or representative raindrops in the track in this moment. So the situation is for slick tires, and of course it's quite difficult, even though Miguel Paludo likes to race in the rain. The most tricky situation is to check if there will be rain indeed. So the question mark is an issue, and he also highlighted the fact that the Goiânia circuit has a long main straight, so it's a good opportunity for him to attack Marçal Miller, the pole sitter.
Carlos, they just raised the 3-minute signal, the 3-minute mark, so it's all starting on schedule. Of course, if it doesn't pull rain, we see the wet tires being taken back to the grid. So let's see So, this is a very tricky of this right after the beginning of the race, of the starting line, because it's the acceleration and then turn to the right, where you know, Carlos, many things happen. So it's always a very important point for this race is this first turn, and we see many things going on there. We see some accidents, some incidents, and drivers have to take lots of care at this first turn that starts the race.
Yeah, definitely. A right-hander, the turn right after the main stride. So this first corner is an important part of the track, especially after the rolling start that we will have in a moment. It's a wide circuit, so there may be cars side by side ahead of the first turn. An interesting grid given the fact that we have the top drivers ahead of the pack, so no drivers out of position, if you can say so. The best ones are there in the front pack, led by pole sitter Marcel Miller, but Miguel Paludo talked about the possibility of a charge there right after the rolling start. Christian Hahn, as we mentioned it earlier, once got 5 overtakes in the opening lap of a race in Goiânia, and Werner Neugbauer, also a very aggressive driver. That's a part of his character as a racer, let's put it that way, as it is also for Marcel Miller to be focused. Of course, each driver has its straight, and now we check the starting grid.
Yes, we'll have Marcel Miller, pole position, alongside him Miguel Paludo, then Werner Neugbauer and Christian Hahn on the second row, followed by Alceu Feldman and Pedro Aguiar. After them, we'll have in the fourth row Lucas Salles and Rodrigo Melo. Lucas Salles upgrading from the sport class. Then Lineu Pires and Peter Ferter, both from the sport class. Lineu Pires pole position for the sport class. Then Francisco Horta and Raijan Mascarello, that we could say second row for the sport class. Nelson Monteiro, Christian Fittipaldi on the seventh row. Christian participating in this race to honor his late father. Franco Giafone and Nelson Monteiro on the eighth row. Franco Giafone on the Carrera Cup. There you see the first rookie, Israel Salman, pole position for the rookies alongside Roman Zinkevich. Then Edu Guedes and Gustavo Zanon. And then after that, we'll have Josimar Júnior and Carlos Campos, both from the sport class. Gustavo Zanon and Marco Pisani there on the 12th row. And then 25th, Ramon Alcaraz. 26, Piero Cifali. And then Leo Sanchez. So it's 27 drivers. So that will be very interesting, and we are very excited to show once more to you all this Porsche Cup Brazil Championship. We'll be here for the third or fourth year in a row, showing it in English, that you can watch it worldwide on YouTube. Let's see, you have some onboards on the right side. On the left side, you have pole position Marcel Miller. On the right side, you have Miguel Paludo. Behind pole position is Werner Neugbauer, number 8. Behind Miguel Paludo is number 26 of Christian Hahn. And it's already for the start of the 2024 season of Porsche Cup Sprint Championship in Brazil, Goiânia International Circuit. Let's wait till the red flags will turn off, and it's green, green, green. We have race in Goiânia. Look at number 8, trying on the inside. Miguel Paludo side to side with Marcel Miller, number 7 and number 544. Marcel Miller, he stays in first, and look how aggressive Christian Hahn is behind Miguel Paludo, and he's trying to come from 5th to 3rd. and number 8 falls behind of Werner Neugebauer. He starts third, but he's now behind Christian Ham. Christian Ham actually came from fourth, and we have Marcel Miller right behind him. And look at this beautiful image of Christian Ham alongside their number 8 of Werner Neugebauer. It's a very good start of the race, Carlos.
Yeah, clean race start and a quite interesting one because we had actually two cars side by side in the first moment. Miguel Paludo trying to attack Marcel Miller. Miller was able to defend his position, managed to get on the lead, and who is that? Apparently a broken suspension there. But anyway...
Yeah, it's Josemar Jr. Josemar Jr.
Okay, let's see if he will be able to proceed on the race, but apparently there's a major issue there with the suspension. But a clean start, and Miller was able to fend off Paludo's charge in the inside line, and a very good start from Christian Hahn. That overtaking maneuver on the outside was very nice.
Yeah, now we see the first two drivers ahead of the pack. Miguel Paludo trying on the outside before turn 1. He's trying to make the X to get advantage over Marcel Miller. We've seen great battles between these two drivers. You remember, Carlos, I don't think it was last year, it was the year before the last one, or maybe last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. They had a great battle in terms de Rio Hondo in the endurance championship race. Exactly. That at the end, Miguel Paludo ended up hitting the curb with his car and was out of the race. Even so, he became the endurance champion, 2023 endurance champion. Right now, Marcel Miller is having a little advantage. Christian Hahn in second, then Neugebauer, Lucas Salles, and Pedro Aguiar in 6th, with Peter Ferter in the 7th position. Carlos, great start by Peter Ferter. He started in 10th and is now 7th, ahead of Alceu Feldman and Christian Fittipaldi and Franco Giaffoni. Christian had a great start. He started 14th and he's 9th overall at this point, Carlos.
Yeah, it will be especially interesting to see Christian Fittipaldi's race pace because, as we explained in the qualifying broadcast earlier today, he's in a way already a retired driver. He's in the car that usually is driven by Paulo Souza. A good opportunity for Christian to pay tribute to Lucio Fittipaldi. As we see there, Lucas Salles trying to attack Werner Neugebauer, but in a way a retired driver, so we don't expect him to have such a competitive qualifying pace, but he's a former F1 driver, a legend in sports cars racing, so definitely we can expect interesting things from him in terms of race pace. And as you said, very interesting race start from Peter Ferter. Started 10th on the grid, was outperformed by Lineu Pires in the fight for pole position in the sport class. Lineu Pires actually lost a bit of ground and is behind Horta in this moment, but anyway, good start for Ferter and Fittipaldi.
Yes, we see now Christian Hahn opening a reasonable gap over Werner Neugebauer. Christian Hahn is in 3rd. Then we have Werner Neugebauer, Lucas Salles, and Pedro Aguiar. They are right there. Remember that Pedro Aguiar lost 2 positions in a penalty. So he is fast. We know he is really fast and he's having a great job. Edu Guedes is the first driver in the rookie class. So it's a nice start by Edu Guedes as well. He started 2nd in the rookie class, and right now he's doing a good job in this very beginning of the race.
Yeah, Israel Salmon also had an issue, the pole sitter in the rookie class, but now appears there in the bottom of the timesheets in the positions that we see to the left of the screen. And Edu Guedes is the reigning champion of the class, defending his crown. So good start for Edu, as we see there a particular fight between Horta and Franco Giaffoni. Franco Giaffoni is here racing in the main Carrera class. So interesting battles throughout the whole pack.
Yes, Francisco Horta is trying to overtake Franco Giaffoni, but Franco Giaffoni is advancing. because he started in 15th, so it's a great start for him as well. He got already 6 positions there, and the pressure is from Lucas Salles over Werner Neugebauer. We see that with Pedro Aguiar right behind them, waiting for something to happen there. And Marçal Miller was able to open also a little bit of a gap over Miguel Paludo. So first is Marçal Miller, then Miguel Paludo and Christian Hahn. Then we have that beautiful battle for the 4th position, and behind them, behind the 4th, 5th and 6th, we have Peter Ferter, Alceu Feldman and Christian Fittipaldi. Christian Fittipaldi is a little bit behind there. Let's see again. Guide us there, Carlos, please.
Interesting the restart, because there we see Lucas Salles going to the inside line to overtake Alceu Feldman. I believe Werner Neugebauer tries to attack Marçal Miller, but Miller has a good jump there, and he's actually worried about Miguel Paludo's charge. I think that Paludo, in a moment, it's there approaching turn 1, the right-hander that will be in the end. Yeah, you can see there the red car a bit ahead of Marçal Miller's car, as we see the replay of the incident in the back of the pack. Actually, there's some debris in the main straight in this moment, but talking about the restart, Marçal Miller was able to go back to the lead position because he had the inside line ahead of the turn 1, the right-hander there. So an eventful start in the back of the grid, but ahead of the pack, a clean start. And there is the debris. They have to do something.
Oh, look at that, yeah. And that's kind of in a dangerous place there. I wouldn't
The
say
main
it's a
straights.
huge debris. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a huge debris, but it's enough to cause damage. And there we have Alceu Feldman trying to overtake Peter Ferter, and he does it. So Alceu Feldman gets the position from Peter Ferter, and right behind Peter Ferter now is Porsche 0, number 0 from Christian Fittipaldi. Great start from Christian Fittipaldi. He didn't have a great qualifying effort. He's currently 9th, but I would say there is a reasonable chance of him getting 8th position from Peter Ferter. Oh, Peter Ferter is from the sports class, and of course, Christian Fittipaldi is a world-class driver, even though, as you
Só
pointed
para
in
trazer mais detalhes
qualifying,
sobre esse momento, né, sobre
Carlos,
essa batida entre o
he's already
Josimar e o
retired
Israel, por mais
as
leve
a
que
race
tenha
car
sido,
driver.
eles bateram e aí o Josimar acabou furando o pneu dianteiro direito, mas já conseguiu fazer esse ajuste e voltou para a pista.
Yeah, just Gabi Guimarães reporting some new facts about the incident that we saw on the replay involving Josimar Jr. He had a puncture, and now he was able to go back to the pits and change the tires, so he's back to the race.
Good battle going on there. We see Pedro Aguiar that was there behind Lucas Salles. So we see there Werner Neugebauer, Lucas Salles and Pedro Aguiar. It's that battle from the start. Practically, Carlos, we have this battle for 4th position. At first, Werner Neugebauer started 3rd, but he lost the position to Christian Hahn, and now he's defending 4th position from Lucas Salles, and then Pedro Aguiar and Alceu Feldman is getting close to the spec. So we might have a 4-driver battle. Christian Fittipaldi wasn't able to overtake so far Peter Ferter.
Yeah, Ferter has a good pace. Actually, we have to highlight his momentum, I would say, because even though we had a big break between the 2 seasons, he ended 2023 in a very good fashion. Good performances, more consistency. He has always shown that he's fast, but sometimes he lacked a bit of consistency. But now, apparently, he's a little bit better in that regard as well. So, of course, considering that Christian Fittipaldi isn't a pro driver anymore because he's already retired, then the situation gets better for Ferter, as we see the top three there on the screen, and Marcel Miller opening a bit of a gap, a little bit more than 1 second.
There you have a Christian Hahn. Christian Hahn is behind Miguel Paludo. Christian Hahn is already competed in the championship. He's back this year. And look at Alceu Feldman. He's already behind Pedro Aguiar. He's the Porsche number 1 there. The dark green Porsche of Alceu Feldman. Great work by him. And he's in this battle for 4th position. Of course, he's the 4th car there. He is in the 7th position, but he has chances to get ahead of these other drivers. Peter Fetter is still there, and Christian Fittipaldi lost the position to Franco Giaffoni. So not a good moment for Christian Fittipaldi, Carlos.
Yeah, not at all losing a bit of ground. Of course, he had a good restart. He doesn't lose his skills. A lot of experience for Christian Fittipaldi, as we pointed, but maybe the physical demand is having an impact as well, because even though he's fit, he's not training as a pro driver anymore. As we see there, a nice duel between Nelson Marcondes and Raijan Mascarello, former Sprint Challenge drivers. Raijan Mascarello, former champion, by the way, and now battling against each other in the Porsche Carrera Cup cars that are more powerful. Important also to mention the difference of power between the two cars. We have the Porsche 992 in the Carrera Cup Championship with up to 510 horsepower. The Porsche Sprint Challenge Championship uses the 991-2 model with up to 485 horsepower. So it's not such a big gap, but hitting the track, it makes difference.
Yeah, it's the battle for 13th position. Both are right now in the sport class for Carrera Cup, and that's Franco Giaffoni. He's going to get the position from Peter Ferter, not yet, but Franco Giaffoni is on the attack there, and Franco Giaffoni overtook the car of Christian Fittipaldi. Christian Fittipaldi, who lost the position to Francisco Horta. He was able to recuperate this position, but both these drivers lost the position to Franco Giaffoni, who is also very experienced in the category, but he used it to race in the sport class up to last year. Right now he's in the main Carrera class and he's doing a nice work. There's the pressure of Francisco Horta over Christian Fittipaldi, and right behind them we have Lineu Pires. Lineu Pires is the green and black Porsche there. Behind this nice Porsche number 77 from Francisco Horta. Look, Francisco Horta, Carlos, going off track. He's doing everything to overtake Christian Fittipaldi.
Yeah, and interesting to see that so far no rain. It's a big concern, of course. We still have a lot of racing to come, more than 10 minutes to go apart from the final lap, and let's see if there's a raindrop or a particular sector of the track that gets wet, if we have something coming from the sky. And a big concern, I believe, also for the Sprint Challenge drivers, Sergio, because apparently the race for Carrera Cup will be okay, but maybe it will rain for the second race that we have this Saturday.
And Franco Giaffoni finally gets to overtake Peter Ferter. Great work by Franco Giaffoni. And right now he goes to the 8th position. Races are in the Porsche Cup Brazil Sprint Championship are 25 minutes plus 1 lap. And in the Endurance Championship they are 300 kilometers, and 500 kilometers. There is also a time limit, but if there is not a big rain or anything, usually they end up by distance. The time limit is more than enough for them to to get the 300 or the 500 kilometers, except if there is a big rain or a situation like that, or a major problem, then the race ends by time limit.
Yeah, that's it. And that train of cars is in a pretty interesting situation because there's not such a big gap between 5 cars. The pack that is led there by Franco Giaffoni with Fittipaldi also close. They go until P12, I would say. The Pit is there. And ahead of the pack, managing the situation quite well, the pole sitter and leader so far, Marçal Miller. So let's see if tire degradation will be an issue. Ooh, there he goes.
Wow.
Peter Verter.
Yeah, Peter Verter. And at least Christian Fittipaldi will get the position. He was battling against Peter Verter. Francisco Horta got a little bit behind Christian Fittipaldi in the number 77. Oh, look at that, Nelson Monteiro also spinning. Could that be some light rain, Carlos? I don't know, 2 cars in a row having problems.
Yeah, from the images, I cannot tell if it is raining or not, but...
Bem parecido com o início do que a gente viu aqui na corrida, né? Uma parte do céu mais cinza,
drive-thru
ameaçando, então os
for
pilotos ainda têm
Josimar
essa dúvida
Júnior
se de fato vão
for
ter que
the
trocar de
incident
pneu
with
ou não.
Israel
Por enquanto,
Sound.
ventando muito por aqui, Luke.
Yeah,
And
the
talking about the
information
weather.
cars that... Okay, go ahead.
No, just the weather report, because there's a lot of wind, which may explain the fact that some drivers are losing control as well. It doesn't need to be rain, as we see a replay of Nelson Monteiro's incident. But if there's a big wind before the storm, then it's also a challenge for the drivers.
Yes, that's what I was going to mention. See, Gabi didn't mention any rain. She's right there at the racetrack, so she knows exactly what's going on. As we see, Christian Fittipaldi, Francisco Horta, and then Lineu Pires. These are the 3 drivers in 9th, 10th, and 11th position. In 12th comes Nelson Marcondes in the 199, and then Raijan Mascarello in the 13th position. Carlos, we can see also that Christian Ham got closer to Miguel Paludo. Not sure if 7 minutes will be enough, but Marçal Miller has a very nice advantage at this point in the first position. So it's a very good start of the season for Marçal Miller, and I would say as well for Miguel Paludo and Christian Ham, as they remain in the top 3 of this race.
Yeah, definitely. And interestingly, Werner Neubauer lost a lot of ground there. He lost position for Christian Ham right after the restart. But usually Werner is able to catch up and attack, but it's not the case today. So Christian Ham being close to Miguel Paludo is also a good thing for Marçal Miller, because he's leading, and then Christian Ham is there bothering Miguel Paludo in the good sense of the word, which allows Marçal Miller to open a bigger gap as he's now approaching the back marker there.
That's Marçal Miller. He is leading the race from start to this point with over 5 minutes to go plus 1 lap. Depending when the leader crosses the line, we have a lap and a half and a lap a little bit more. But anyway, it's officially 1 lap after that. And it seems to me, there he is. Yeah, Miguel Paludo, and then we have Christian Ham. And then, as you see there, Carlos, 6 seconds separate Christian Ham from Werner Neubauer. So it's a lot. Look at the gap there, the difference, the visual difference is huge from Christian Ham to Werner Neubauer, who was able to open over number 7 of Lucas Salles. And now we see Alceu Feldman putting some pressure on Pedro Aguiar. Pedro Aguiar is number 20, and Alceu Feldman is the driver of Porsche number 1. And behind them, totally isolated in the 8th place, is Franco Giafone.
Yeah, an interesting battle. Nice duel there to make this final stage of the race a little bit spicier. These two know each other for quite a while. You see there also Feldman insinuating himself with a different racing line. Let's see if Christian Hunt will be able to attack Miguel Paludo as well. And we have a good expectation for this final stages of the race. Just to mention, we had communication from the stewards. The incident between Rodrigo Melo and Nelson Monteiro is under investigation. The incident that led to that spin that we saw from Nelson Monteiro. But let's wait and see if there's any penalty or something like that.
There is Alceu Feldman. He is a driver from Paraná in the south part of Brazil. He lives in Paraná. I believe he's from Santa Catarina, right, Carlos? Or at least his family is from Santa Catarina, which is a little bit south of Paraná. If you don't know the map of Brazil, we have São Paulo, and south of São Paulo, we have the state of Paraná. Oh, Alceu Feldman! Alceu Feldman spins, and I believe that's his son, right? It's Alceu Feldman. Grandson, let's say, but I believe he's the son of Alceu Feldman, and he was not happy there with what happened to his father.
My goodness, and yeah, you jinxed him a little bit, Sergio.
Come on,
but
come on, Carlos.
He's from the Santa Catarina state, but he's living in Curitiba, that is the capital of the Paraná state. And of course, that's a shame because he was getting closer and closer to Pedro Aguiar. And he missed apparently the right apex of the corner there, lost the back end of the car, and then nothing he could do to prevent the spin.
Yes, he lost many positions. Now we have in 7th Franco Giafone. Christian Fittipaldi is 8th right now. We still see Alceu Feldman there, but he lost the positions. In 7th. And there you see the differences. So Christian Ham, I believe, Carlos, he won't have strength enough to overtake Miguel Paludo. We are very close to the end of the race. He got closer to Paludo, but I would say not enough unless something happens to Miguel Paludo, and the difference of almost 2.5 seconds Marçal Miller to Miguel Paludo. It says everything about this first race for Marçal Miller, but we have to remember, Carlos, that after this first round, which the race today is tomorrow, which starts at 11:30 Brazilian time, 2:30 GMT PM, and 10:30 AM US Eastern time. After these first two races, the drivers will receive a BOP, a balance of performance.
Yeah.
So things might change for the second round at Velocitar.
That's an important factor. And just talking a little bit more about Alceu Feldman's incident, it was sad to see his son there. Of course, a difficult moment for the kid now making his debut in the series. And just to complete information, Alceu Feldman is already the junior, so I translated what would be Alceu Feldman's grandson name, because Neto in Portuguese means grandson, but he's the kid of Alceu Feldman. The senior Alceu Feldman is not a driver of Porsche Cup.
Alceu Feldman, I had the opportunity to have a lunch with him. He's a very nice fellow, very nice to talk with, very simple guy. Even though he has lots of wins, he's a very simple guy, and it's a nice conversation. There we have 2-1-0, so that's it. After the Marçal Miller crosses the start-finish line, will have one more lap. So it says there on top 2 laps, but it's not 2 complete laps. It's this lap they are on when the time, the 25 minutes expired, plus the 1 lap that will start after he crosses the start-finish line. So it's how it works. And he has ahead of him Piero Cifali, Marçal Miller. And also number 27, 27 Josimar Jr. is behind. So all these are cars that lost at least 1 lap.
Yeah, back markers. Piero Cifali actually disturbed a bit Miguel Paludo's racing line there, but they will be free of the back markers in a moment. And interesting to mention that Paludo was able to fend off any attack from Christian Hahn and got closer in the final stages of the race, but he wasn't able to attack properly Miguel Paludo, a very experienced driver, the guy with most race wins and titles.
Marçal Miller is very close to his first win in 2024 in the first race that marks the 20th season of Porsche Cup Brazil. He is going to get the checkered flag, one more in his victorious career. And there he is, Marçal Miller, very close to winning this first race in Goiânia. Tomorrow we'll have more. And Marçal Miller already commemorates and he crosses the checkered flag. He's the winner of the first race of this 2024 championship. Miguel Paludo is second, Christian Hahn third, then Werner Neubauer was able to keep 4th position. Lucas Salles is 5th, Pedro Aguiar 6th, Franco Giappone, Christian Fittipaldi, Francisco Horta, and Lineu Pires. So these are the top 10 drivers in the race. And Alceu Feldman, after he spun, ended up finished in the 19th position. Very bad for Alceu Feldman. While we saw there Marçal Miller being complimented by Miguel Paludo. Francisco Horta wins in the sport class, and in the group class the winner is Israel Salman. There he is, Israel Salman is the winner for the rookie class. At a certain point we had Duguedes ahead of him, but at the end Israel Salman prevailed, he who is coming from the Sprint Challenge Championship. So that's it, Carlos. Great race, but hey, everybody stay tuned here. We will have another great race, the first race of the year for the Sprint Challenge Championship.
Yeah, that's it. In some minutes we have the race start for the first one of the Sprint Challenge Championship. As Sergio said, we have 2 races per championship. The first one's this Saturday, so podium celebrations and then the race start, and it will be an interesting podium celebration. I believe these guys will be relieved because before the race start they were concerned about rain, and then they were able to compete in a slick situation there. Hats off to Marçal Miller, a very good race start, fending off Miguel Paludo's charge. Then he was able to manage the gap and even extend his advantage ahead of the pack. Paludo also with a good drive, even though he wasn't able to overtake Marçal Miller, he was able to defend his second position against Christian Hahn. That was the one who managed to gain 1 spot considering the grid position. So he overtook Werner Neubauer right in the start of the race and tried to attack Miguel Paludo in order to be second, but the multiple champion and race winner was able to defend position. But a very interesting performance from the top 3. Werner Neubauer lost a bit of ground. Important also to mention the winner of the intermediate classes, sport class and the rookie class as well. Actually, the rookie class competition was quite intense. In a moment we saw that Israel Salman
comemora muito Marçal Miller aqui abraçando a sua equipe. Marçal, o que é isso? Qual o segredo? Pole, fez a melhor, aliás, liderou todas as voltas, fez o melhor tempo, a melhor volta, vence a corrida. Não tem jeito melhor de começar a temporada 2024, né?
Com certeza não tem jeito melhor. Conseguir fazer a pole position e ganhar a primeira corrida do ano é muito bom para o campeonato. Eu vi que o Miguel deu uma chegada no meio, mas depois acho que o Chris Hunt começou a chegar nele, então eu consegui aproveitar para abrir um pouquinho de novo. Mas é isso aí, estou muito feliz, queria agradecer meus patrocinadores aí e vamos com tudo para a corrida de amanhã.
Essa competição entre os dois, você acha que acabou te ajudando então a focar no seu, igual você me falou no começo da corrida, né? É a preocupação porque na largada tudo pode acontecer, na corrida também, preocupação é só com o seu trabalho, né? E de todo mundo da sua equipe, claro.
Exatamente, eu dentro do carro tenho uma visão meio restrita do que acontece com os outros, né? Acho que vocês podem ter visto melhor do que eu o que aconteceu. Mas estou muito feliz, o ritmo era bom, consegui fazer uma largada limpa, sem me envolver em nada. E trazer essa vitória aí para Farm e para Patros é uma alegria imensa.
O fato de a chuva não ter chegado é positivo?
Com certeza, quem está numa posição de pole position, liderando a prova, toda a adversidade que vier não é tão positiva. Então, eu vi os pingos ali do para-brisa, segura mais um pouquinho, mais um pouquinho.
Boa, Marçal, muito obrigada, parabéns pela primeira vitória do ano, tamo junto. Aí, ó.
Marcel Miller there talking about the fact that he saw some raindrops in the windscreen there, but eventually there were no bigger raindrops that could impact the race, so it was a slick situation throughout the whole race, and he was able to win. He talked about the fact that in a moment Miguel Paludo tried to catch up, but then Chris Hunt was closer to Paludo, and Miller was able to extend his gap, his advantage, in order to guarantee this race win. Important race win for him, as we see the confirmation of the results, Sergio.
Exactly, Marçal Miller, Miguel Paludo, Christian Hunt, Vernon Legbar, Lucas Salles, Pedro Aguiar, Franco Giafone, and Christian Fittipaldi. Top 8 from the main Carrera class. Then Francisco Horta was able to be ahead of Lineu Pires and win the sports class. Rodrigo Melo and Alceu Feldo were the drivers from Carrera Cup that didn't finish well. And then Israel Salman, close to the end, was able to open a gap of 0.3 of a second over Edu Guedes to win the rookie class. So there is 3 drivers finished 2 laps behind, but everybody was able to finish the race, which is kind of nice, it's kind of cool. We see a better situation of the weather right now. We see Miguel Paludo talking to Marçal Miller. Certainly they are talking about that very beginning when Miguel Paludo went on the outside, side by side with Marcel Miller. And Lucas Salles gets the trophy for 5th position.
Yeah, nice.
Let me see,
podium
Vernon
celebrations
Neugebauer.
there. Whoa,
Not very
that's
happy.
bold.
Not
Yeah,
very
of
happy,
course.
Vernon Neugebauer.
Yeah, he lost ground. Of course, he had a good pace in qualifying. It was enough for 3rd, even though he started the final qualifying session, establishing the pace there. Eventually outperformed by Paludo and Miller, but lost ground to Christian Hunt. But now he has to focus on the podium celebrations and refocus as well for race 2. There's still a race to come, and he has conditions, he has skill to get a better result, as we see highlights from Marcel Miller's performance. What a win, dominant win. Important to mention also the statistics that our pit reporter Gabi Guimarães brought. Led all of the laps, of course, from start to finish. Fastest lap as well, and pole position. So he was completely dominant in a Max Verstappen way in Formula 1.
Yes, I totally agree. A very nice beginning of the season. Like you said, tomorrow, like we've been saying, tomorrow we have the second race, but it is indeed a very good start for Marcel Miller in 2024. But it's a long journey, Carlos, because the Sprint Championship will only finish in the first weekend of November alongside Formula 1. Now we have the sport class. Francisco Horta is in the position number 1 there on top. 5th place was Roman Zinkevich. 4th place was Aijan Mascarello. Then Nelson Marcondes, 3rd place. Lineu Pires, there he is. And then the winner, Francisco Horta.
Yeah, a nice drive from Francisco Horta. Obviously, he won the race, but the way he did so, starting third on the class, I believe, and out of trouble, consistent race pace, was able to overtake some competitors throughout the race as well. We have to remember that the pole sitter in the class was Lineu Pires, and Peter Ferter was leading in the moment. Actually, he was quite far from Francisco Horta, but Ferter overdrove a bit and made a mistake, so that Horta was able to capitalize and lead the class to win once more. Very clean drive, I would say, from Francisco Horta. He's also a veteran of the series, very experienced driver, and deserves this race win. As we see some highlights, him defending position against Lineu Pires, also trying to attack Christian Fittipaldi. It was an intense battle in this middle of the pack. Sergio, as now we see the rookie class going.
Yeah, in the rookie class, first place was Israel Salman, Edu Guedes number 2, number 3 was Gustavo Farah, then Gustavo Zanon and Ramon Alcaraz. Gustavo Zanon received the trophy. Edu Guedes is now receiving his trophy. And the winner, Israel Salman.
And Israel Salman with a good recovery. As we explained, he was the pole sitter of the rookie class, but lost ground a bit in the beginning of the race. Eventually, Edu Guedes was the leader for a while, but Israel Salman was able to recuperate and win. Interesting to see once more
Luke, tô aqui ao lado do Chico, só pra sair. Aí, boa, Cachê me ajudou aqui. Chico, a gente falava um pouco sobre como Goiânia te dá sorte, ou como você se demonstra, assim, de maneira a se recuperar mesmo. No primeiro treino aqui em Goiânia você bateu e hoje consegue a vitória na categoria esporte. E aí, tá feliz? Me conta tudo, que superação, demais.
Estou muito feliz, acho que é o jeito certo de começar o ano. E realmente no treino de quinta, eu dei uma saída da pista, encostei, fui no pneu. E aí você sempre tem chance de mexer na cabeça, mas foi bem legal. Ontem fiz um treino bom, uma largada que foi mais ou menos, então já começou uma corrida de recuperação ali. E foi indo e deu o primeiro lugar, estou bem contente.
É bom começar a temporada assim, né?
Sem dúvida, não é nem pensar em campeonato, ponto, é só começar com o pé direito mesmo, com alegria.
Boa, obrigada, parabéns pela vitória. Tá aí a palavra do Chico Horta, bora atrás agora do Israel.
Yeah, nice interview there from Chico Horta celebrating. Let's see the race.
Yes, Miguel Mariotti pole position, Seba Malucelli from the sport class alongside him. Great effort by Seba. Sadak Leighton, Antonella Bassani, last year Antonella Bassani in the second row. Then Caio Castro and Gerson Campos in the third row, both in the main challenge category class. Christian Moore and Luis Souza fourth row. Behind them we will have Marco Tulio and Matheus Roque. And then after them we have Célio Brasil and Leonardo Herman in the sixth row. 13th place, Sang Joaquim and Giuliano Bertuccelli. Then after them we have, that's not Caio Castro there, it's Lucas Locatelli, number 54, but anyway.
It's Caio Chaves.
Caio Chaves, yes. Claudio Reina and Eric Santos behind them. And then we have in the 19th and 20th, Claudio Reina and Paulo Totaro. And then Alceu Neto and Wagner Pontes. And we'll have 22 cars, so 5 cars less than the Carrera Cup. The cars are already aligned for the start of the race. We have there pole position Miguel Mariotti on your left side, number 21 on the right side. Second position Seba Malucelli. Behind Mariotti we have Sadak Leighton. Behind Malucelli we have Antonella Bassani. As they go to the main straight, right, red lights are on. When they turn off, we will have the start of the sprint challenge race in Goiânia, first of this year's championship. They are already hitting the throttle. Look at Antonella Bassani, and it's green, green, green. 3 side by side there. On the inside, Miguel Mariotti. Look at the battle on the inside as well. Great battle there. Antonella Bassani on the outside. Tries to make the turn. She will end up 3rd or 4th where she was. On the inside lane, gets a huge advantage there in this very beginning of the race, with Miguel Mariotti keeping the first position, even though we see there Leonardo Herman, number 23, but with no major incident. And Antonella Bassani fell to 4th position. Sadaki Leite is 2nd. Caio Castro is in the 3rd position with number 22. So these are the top 3 in the very beginning of the race. And another driver that lost positions was 2nd place, Seba Malucelli. It was the first time ever, Carlos, that was going to start in the first row, and I think that didn't help him. Definitely didn't help him, as he lost many positions in this start of the race. Christian Moore, we saw there, number 3, is 4th position, Carlos.
Yeah, Christian Moore ahead of Antonella Bassani. Antonella lost a bit of ground in the restart, even though it's not a major loss, but she has to catch up, because the top 4 there is opening a bit of a gap, especially the top 2, with Mariotti leading a good restart.
Whoa, look at that, Carlos.
Luckily, he was able to avoid the crash. Is that Caio Castro?
I think it was Caio Castro, yes. Caio Castro was thinking, because Sadaki Leite is still in 2nd, so he had Sadaki Leite and Caio Castro in 3rd, and that was exactly the 3rd place who had a problem.
My goodness.
Wow, that was
Herman.
Leonardo Herman, exactly. Look at me, he was alone. No help, Carlos, I believe.
Apparently alone. Apparently alone. Let's see the replay, but anyway, Caio Castro went a bit wide. Eventually he was able to avoid a major incident. We have to praise him because of that, of course, even though he made a mistake. Apparently Herman spun alone. It's interesting because we had actually a cleaner start, let's put it that way, in this Porsche Sprint Challenge Race 1 compared to the restart that we had in Porsche Carrera Cup, but then right after the restart, a couple of incidents.
Yes, we talked about this during qualifying, Carlos. Caio Castro is a very aggressive driver. He has fire in his eyes, even though he's a gentleman. His main profession is being an actor, but sometimes he pays dearly for that. I believe that was the case. We are still in the very beginning of the race, and maybe he tried to be too aggressive for this part of the race. But it's part of the game. It's part of his learning curve, even though he's been competing for a while now, but he's always learning. We have to remember it's not his main profession, so it's not something that he does every day. Like, let's think about a professional driver or all the year in many categories, depending on the driver and the category.
Yeah, that's an important factor, and now relearning this car, let's put it that way, because he competed in Porsche Cup in 2022. Last year he was competing in the Truck Cup in Brazil, and now back to Porsche Cup. Already experienced driver, even though he's still a guest driver, as Sergio explained, and the top 5 is quite close there, Sergio.
Yes, I'm liking the performance of Sadaki Leite. He's a guy who is a driver who is also evolving, Carlos. Last year he was in the sport class, I believe. I remember him in the rookie class, then he advanced to the sport class, and now he's battling for first position in the overall sprint challenge race. So he's really evolving, he's showing lots of skills, and we have right behind him Christian Moore, who is a very experienced driver. Christian Moore has been racing in the Sprint Challenge main category for a while now, and we see, Carlos, the top 5 separated by a minimum difference up to this point. And look at that, Antonello Bassani loses the position, and wow, Christian Moore touches Sadak Leite, who loses position. Can he do that, Carlos?
Yeah, I was thinking about that because it wasn't just a bump or something like that. And the touch comes from the side. So the front end of Christian Moore's car touches the side of Sadak Leite's car. The good thing is that he lost just 2 or 3 positions, and he was able to control, as we see the replay of the incident. Also, Gerson Campos, I think, overtaking Antonello Bassani in the other moment there, but Campos eventually had to go a little bit slower in order to avoid contact with Sadak Leite. Difficult to judge. But I think that the stewards have to take a look into that incident and maybe a penalty. Let's see another replay there. It's Caio Castro avoiding contact with Sadak Leite's car. That's it.
Yeah, he very skillfully got the 4th position, so he recuperated pretty much what he lost. He was 3rd when he went off track. Now he's in 4th behind Antonella Bassani. So to say, Antonella Bassani and Caio Castro were the drivers who most benefited from that touch of Christian Moore over Sadak Leite. There you see number 100, who was 2nd place. Oh, Christian Moore. Christian Moore falls behind. Yeah, something happened. And now Antonella Bassani is 2nd.
He goes wide, but
maybe a flat tire.
I don't know if just a flat tire.
But his right tire, front tire, looks with a problem.
Yes, I don't know if it is a puncture or something with the axle there, but he will change the tire apparently. And there he is. He's slow. He will pull over.
Oh, there he is. No, it's the same driver. It's Christian Moore.
And quite close to the pit exit there, so dangerous position actually.
There you see Seba Malucelli, Célio Brasil, and behind Célio Brasil, Marco Túlio. So that's a good battle going on as well. And with all these incidents, Carlos, Miguel Mariotti took advantage, and he has a nice gap now over 2nd place Antonella Bassani. We see that on the visual there, that he opened a nice gap, and his poison made his race. At least he has a big advantage now. And number 1, look at that. That's Alceu Feldman Neto, who was desperate when his father had a problem and will have the safety car in the first race. Look at that, Carlos. Claudio Rein as well, number 9. That's it for number 3 of Christian Moore. So lots of incidents going on.
That's it, and we can see that it wasn't just a flat-spotted tire for Christian Moore or anything like that. Apparently something bigger happened. As we see the moment in which he goes to the grass and loses control of the car. Luckily, there wasn't a major crash after this moment because apparently he wasn't controlling the car anymore, otherwise he wouldn't be there. But a couple of incidents, safety car. We see Claudio Reina's car with a puncture in the front left tire there. There was a touch between him and Alceu Feldman Neto. Let's see if Neto will be able to rejoin the track, as now we have the holdback behind the safety car. But I believe it will be a fast safety car. Let's see.
Yeah, let's hope. This race is more it's been. I like it a lot, the first race of the Carrera Cup. Carlos, but this race has been plagued by more incidents, let's put it this way, that pretty much they started with this car there touching the Sadaka Lady car, who currently is in the 5th position.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation there, because if the stewards decide to penalize Christian Moore because of the incident between him and Sadaki Leite, then he will have to pay the penalty in tomorrow's race. So let's see if there's any decision on that regard, as we see Claudio Reina's car also retired from the race after the incident with Alceu Feldman Neto. And I agree, Sergio, a crazier race in the Sprint Challenge Championship. Yeah, Feldman also.
That's it for
retired.
Feldman Neto, yes. That's it for him.
What a Saturday for the family, huh?
Hey, Carlos, don't be disappointed. Tomorrow we have more.
Yeah,
Tomorrow we
that's
have
it.
more.
Aproveitar esse momento do safety car para informar que o número de posições invertidas na corrida 2 da carreira amanhã será 7. Lembrando que o vencedor da corrida número 1, nesse caso o Marçal, é quem faz o sorteio e aí define como será o grid invertido da corrida número 2 que acontece amanhã.
So we already have the draw of the number of positions. And Marçal Miller, actually the winner of race 1, that is not Marçal Miller because he competes in the other championship so far, Miguel Mariotti, he will be the one that will make the draw and define grid for race 2.
Yeah, but with the draw in the Carrera Cup, Carlos, if it was the 7th position, Franco Giafone will start on the pole with Pedro Aguiar alongside him, then Lucas Salles and Vernon Neugebauer, Christian Ham and Miguel Paludo, and then Marçal Miller, this Saturday's race winner, will start alongside in the 4th row with Christian Fittipaldi, who was 8th in the Saturday's race of the Carrera Cup Championship.
Yeah, that's it. Let's see if the safety car will be out now.
The lights
I
are
think
out.
that's the case. Okay, that's what we want to see. Green flag.
That's it. Race is 25 minutes plus 1 lap. Great race so far by Miguel Mariotti, but that will be a chance now for all the drivers behind him. Antonella Bassani, current champion, is looking forward for a victory here in Goiânia. She knows she has success in this racetrack. She is 2nd at this point, and we have a race again. Miguel Mariotti on the leader, Antonella Bassani is 2nd place.
And we saw there previously Bia Figueiredo, that is one of the driver coaches of Antonella Bassani. Caio Castro on the charge.
Caio Castro trying to overtake Antonella Bassani. Oh, Antonella Bassani! She had to hold the throttle for a little bit. Great work by Caio Castro. And there he is, Carlos. When you have a problem in the very beginning of the race, if you're able to come back, you still have a chance. And that's what Caio Castro is having. He spun when he was 3rd. Now he's 2nd. And Miguel Mariotti better watch out in his rear mirror.
Yeah, good pace from Caio Castro after he went wide in that first moment of the race. Actually, he was able to avoid the spin, which is why he's not in the back of the grid. So hats off to him because of that. And Antonella Bassani losing ground once more. Her race start wasn't that good, and the restart also a little bit tricky. Let's see if she has the pace to attack. And Miguel Mariotti has to be wary. And I was talking about Antonella's coach, that is Bia Figueiredo, also known as Ana Beatriz in the US, a former Indy Lights driver.
I think that's Marco Tullio. Yeah, it's Marco Tullio. Marco Tullio once again having a problem. Caio Castro right behind Miguel Mariotti, trying to get the first position. Mariotti will be first at the turn. Let's see how aggressive Caio Castro will be. He does a line a little bit on the inside, goes off a little bit on the outside, and we see that he's putting everything there to get the second position. Then Antonella Bassani, and in third place we have Gerson Campos. Gerson Campos doing great work there in fourth place, right behind Antonella Bassani.
Yeah, and actually Gerson Campos, he had a bad luck in that incident between Christian Mor and Sadaki Leite, because he had to go slower to avoid contact with Sadaki Leite's car. And apart from that incident, which is not, of course, Sadaki Leite's fault, his race has been very good so far. We have to praise him. He's a former sport class driver, now in the main sprint challenge class, as we saw the chat there between Alceu Feldman and his son. Of course, they're not happy, but as Sergio said, they have a good opportunity tomorrow.
That was good. That's what I say, good humor. You know, they took it lightly. They took it lightly. That's part of life, Carlos.
Yeah, especially in motor racing, that's part of the business, and they have to enjoy the fact that they are able to share this moment side by side. There, of course, they don't share the grid because it's a different championship for also Feldman's kid, but they are there experiencing the emotions of Porsche Cup in such a well-organized series, and tomorrow there's more to come. And look at Caio Castro.
Yes, Caio Castro is there, and before, Carlos, at the end of the straight, we saw Antonella Bassani making a very aggressive defense over the attack of Gerson Campos. Gerson Campos tried a little bit on the inside. She kind of blocked him in not in the wrong way, but she did it well. And we have the onboard from Caio Castro. Let's follow him a little bit. There he is, not a long time. And that's Seba Malucelli. And he's not that far, Carlos. He's in sixth right now with Célio Brasil behind him. And that's the battle for the first position in the sport class.
Yeah, good performance, even though he lost ground at the beginning of the race. He has to focus on a class win. As Castro tries to attack, and interesting to see that Castro once more breaks very late in the apex of the right-hander, turn one. That also happened when he was fighting for position against Antonella Bassani. He has to be careful there.
Under 7 minutes to go, plus one lap. We see the top three right behind one of another. Gerson Campos loses a little bit of ground. Then we have Sadaki Leite, who started second after being touched by Christian Mor, is running now fifth. And then we have in sixth, Seba Malucelli, number 100, who leads the sport class. The rookie class is being led by Caio Chaves, who was the pole position for the rookie class. So he's keeping his first position. Remember, Carlos, he said in his interview after qualifying that he was going to fight with everything he had to keep the first position in the rookie class. And he's starting his career right now in the Porsche Cup category, and he's doing well so far.
Yeah, and a very young driver, but showing his credentials from the very first moment, claiming pole position and leading the pack. Of course, he was quite bold in his interview, considering that he's making his debut, but that's it. He has to be brave and aggressive in order to establish himself in the rookie classes. Caio Castro once more tries to get closer. He's being very aggressive in the apex of the corners. Be interesting until the checkered flag, I believe.
Yes, he has to have, I think, not necessarily, but I usually see the drivers who succeed they have a little bit of an attitude. It doesn't have to be necessarily a bad attitude, but they have to be there, you know. They have to believe in themselves, and I believe that's what he is doing, Caio Chaves. So that's a great work. And this is the other Caio Castro, who lost a little bit of ground right now to first place Miguel Mariotti, and he's under pressure from number 72, pardon me, of Antonella Bassani.
And no rain, Sergio.
No rain.
No
That's
rain
good,
at all.
Carlos. I'm glad. I'm glad because, you know, rain, it gives a little bit of spice to the races, but at the same time, you know, it would have been very confusing. Probably a red flag, all the drivers, all the cars having to change tires. So, you know.
I agree.
The race is nice.
The series,
the race is nice. Yes.
That's it. The series provides good racing already in the dry conditions. It's not like Formula 1, in which we have to expect rain in order to reshuffle the hierarchy of the teams. But we see a very interesting fight for the overall race winners now. Paulo Totaro is under pressure from Arturo. Yeah, a bit bold there to say the least, but last time actually Totaro opened a bit of a gap.
Yes, and behind Marco Tullio is Wagner Pontes. Wagner Pontes, which also is a rookie, is starting his career in the Porsche Cup Sprint Challenge. So that's another newcomer during qualifying, because we mentioned that the Sprint Challenge category has many newcomers or drivers who advanced from one class to the other, and that's making it very interesting for the first position. Caio Castro, side by side, on the outside, on the main straight, Caio Castro trying to get the first position from Miguel Mariotti. Miguel Mariotti will have advantage in the turn. Let's see if Caio Castro will try to go on the inside. Not this time, but a very good attack. Caio Castro, time is running out, and he's putting everything against Miguel Mariotti, which with Antonella Bassani right behind them, and Gerson Campos maybe having a new life there in the fourth position, watching the battle ahead of him.
What a race, Sergio. We have the top four very close, and Sadaki Leite is not that far, so if there's any incident ahead of the back, they can benefit, but Caio Castro was closer in the beginning of the lap. Now Antonella Bassani is putting pressure on Caio.
Less than 2 minutes to go. Caio Castro is in a hurry. He'll try to approach again Miguel Mariotti. My impression, Carlos, that Caio Castro is slightly faster than Miguel Mariotti. He got closer twice, but is not getting speed enough to overtake.
Yeah, it seems that in the intermediate sector of the track, that is a little bit more slow speed and the technical part of the Goiânia circuit, Miguel Mariotti can defend his position. But in the first sector and the last sector, Caio Castro gets closer.
That's battle for first position. This is the first race of 2024 of the Sprint Challenge Championship part of Brazil. We have the Carrera Cup, we have the Sprint Challenge, and now we have the Sprint Trophy, a school category. We do not air it in English, but it will happen on the Sunday morning. So that's another nice category. So that's the third category from Porsche Cup Brazil, which is growing each year. We see it growing, having more public, more drivers, more competition. 22 seconds, and they will cross the line. I believe, let's wait and see. It might be before the 25-minute mark.
Before.
Yes. Look at Caio Castro, Carlos. He's right behind Miguel Mariotti. Let's see if he tries the inside. Mariotti defends himself. Go to the outside, Caio Castro. He might make an X there. Let's see if he tries. Oh no, he goes wide. Not this time. And it's 2 laps. It's not full 2 laps, but 1 lap and a lot of another lap. So that's what we have left for this race.
Yeah, but as I said, he gets closer in the main straight because he has a fast third sector and a very good start of the first sector. In the intermediate sector, Miguel Mariotti defends. There we see opening a bit of a gap once more. Actually, Caio Castro made a bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, he lost a little bit. That might have been it for Caio Castro. And there we see Antonella Bassani.
Yeah, she settled for third already.
That was again Bia Figueiredo. We remember that Antonella Bassani's team, it's an all-female team. Only women take care of the car. So, and we have another all-female team that competes in the sprint trophy category. But Antonella Bassani, it was last year's champion, and she'll probably start. Actually, I believe she lost positions, Carlos. She is in 6th right now. Something happened to Antonella Bassani because she was in 3rd, and she's way slower than she was. So that's not a good moment. As we go for the last lap in Goiânia, beginning first race of the season 2024, first race of the 20th season of Porsche Cup Brazil, Carlos.
Yeah, but apparently there was an issue with Antonella's car because she wasn't that far from Caio Castro and lost a lot of ground. We didn't see images showing what happened. Let's see if there's a replay after the race, but now the focus is on Fight for the Win.
Miguel Mariotti got the pole position. He was fastest on Friday in the free practice, and he's going to win the first race of the 2024 Sprint Challenge Championship. No more Caio Castro that will have to settle for 2nd position. Miguel Mariotti gets the checkered flag and wins in Goiânia in the first race of the Sprint Challenge 2024. Look at that, people crying, laughing. What an emotion there. Carlos Costa in the Miguel Mariotti's camp.
What a race and what a drive from Miguel Mariotti. Actually, what a weekend so far. We had the qualifying broadcast earlier today, Sergio, and he said first pole position in 3 years, and what a dominant drive in order to win the race as well. As we see Caio Chaves crowned as the race winner in the rookie class, Seba Malucelli there winning the sport class. But hats off to Miguel Mariotti. What he did was incredible, not just because of the qualifying pace that put him ahead of the pack for the race start, but he was under attack throughout the whole race, by the way. He didn't have a good margin of advantage, as did Marçal Miller in the Carrera Cup race. He was under pressure, first from Christian Moore, then Moore had an issue, had to retire the car, and then Caio Castro was able to capitalize. After the restart of the race, Caio was able to overtake Antonella Bassani and then battle until the end against Miguel Mariotti, but Mariotti prevailed, and what a race win. A very interesting race. I would say that it was even better than Porsche Carrera Cup's race, even though Carrera Cup's was good as well, but a crazier one in this championship. And we had an interesting battle between Miguel Paludo and Christian Hunt for the 2nd position of the Carrera Cup's race, but now a fight for the win with Caio Castro putting pressure on Miguel Mariotti until the checkered flag.
I agree 100% with you, Carlos. And it was a great race, but funny enough, the three winners start from pole position. So Seba Malucelli started in the pole position for the sport class. Then Caio Chaves in the pole position for the rookie class. And of course the overall winner, Miguel Mariotti, started from the pole position overall. So that was the final result. Great race also by Caio Castro. We had a great race by Antonella Bassani until she had problems close to the end of the race. Not a good day for the Feldman family, both father and son. First in Carrera Cup, then in the Sprint Challenge, they end up with bad results.
Yeah, difficult day for the Feldman family. As we saw there, Miguel Mariotti greeting Rafa Martins, that is his driver coach. Interesting meeting there, always from drivers and their coaches, as we see Seba Malucelli celebrating. Also Sadaki Leite's car, good race from Sadaki Leite. Had a bit of bad luck in that incident with Christian Mor, but there it is, the man who has to celebrate the most. And Sergio, what start of season for Porsche Cup in 2024. Two back-to-back races today. We have two more this Sunday, but both of the races that we saw this Saturday were very good. Competitive qualifying session as well. Mariotti has to celebrate, Miller has to celebrate, also the winners from the intermediate classes. We have to praise all of these triumphs because they were, of course, very deserving of what they did, especially Caio Chaves as well in the rookie class. Seba Malucelli lost a bit of ground considering that he started on the front row, but eventually was able to win in his class. And
Luke,
no rain,
tô aqui
let's
ao
see
lado
if the
dele,
rain
vencedor,
comes
Miguel
in
Mariotti,
the
sua
end
primeira vitória na Porsche Cup
of the
Brasil,
afternoon.
parabéns.
Let's hear from Miguel
Que
Mariotti.
disputa boa com o Caio Castro, o homem te deu trabalho, hein?
Me deu uma canseira ali o Caio, mas foi muito bom, um fim de semana inteiro aí liderando nos treinos, consegui uma pole tanto no primeiro classificatório quanto no Q2. Então estou muito feliz, só agradecer a todos os meus patrocinadores, aos meus mecânicos, engenheiro, meu coach, toda a minha família que está aqui, aos familiares que estão acompanhando da TV, meus amigos também. Um abraço a todos e vamos comemorar.
O que você ficou pensando ali ao longo da corrida? Porque o Caio atrás de você, a Antonella Bassani incomodando ele também, quase que até a reta final da corrida. O que passou pela tua cabeça ou só estava focado no seu mesmo?
Então, estava bem focado ali, eu vi o Caio no retrovisor ali, ele largou em quinto, né? Ele tá fazendo a reestreia dele aí, ele devia estar com sangue nos olhos, mas conseguimos segurar o homem aí e muito feliz aí por esse resultado.
Parabéns, Miguel, pela sua primeira vitória na categoria. Tamo junto.
Nice, Miguel Mariotti, very happy. His first race win in Porsche Cup after some seasons already in the category. And he talked about the emotion throughout the race. Of course, he saw that Caio Castro was approaching. He saw Caio in his mirrors, but was able to concentrate on his race. And what a race, by the way, because he didn't have to make any defensive maneuver apart from getting the inside line ahead of the first turn, that right-hander that we talked about. But he was able to fend off any pressure from Caio Castro by outperforming Caio in the intermediate sector. So we have to praise what Miguel Mariotti did and the race as a whole. Look at that gap, only 6/10 of a second, almost 7/10, Sergio.
Yes, great work by him. There you see the final positions of the race. The winner of the rookie class finished 10th, which is a great position. Seba Malucelli won the sport class that you see on the left side. And now we have the main podium. Carlos, with Miguel Mariotti on top. Second place, there is Caio Castro. Miguel Mariotti gets the trophy now. Third was Sadaki Leite. Then Seba Malucelli in fourth. And Célio Brasil in fifth. Even though Seba Malucelli and Célio Brasil are in the sport class, they compete with the overall category as well. The same happens with the rookie class. They compete with both the sport class and the overall. So there is again, we see Miguel Mariotti. Make a note at home tomorrow, our transmission, tomorrow Sunday, the 10th of, tomorrow is the 10th, right? Yes, the 10th of March.
Yeah.
Our transmission starts at 11:30 a.m. Brazilian time, 2:30 p.m. GMT, or 10:30 a.m. US Eastern time. So be sure to be with us. The starting grid will be different because they have a draw from 7th to 1st. So let's see how it will work. We don't know yet for the sprint challenge. For the Carrera Cup, 7th place in today's race will start in the pole position. And that was a great image there, Carlos. The team commemorating, as we see now, the top drivers for the
Sport
class category. Exactly.
Yeah, nice podium there. Sábado leading. We have Julian Bertuccelli, San Joaquin, also Luis Souza and Sério Brasil, and of course the guy that finished it first. He has to celebrate. Nice day for him, I would say. I would say also that he maybe happier with what he did on the qualifying session, but anyway, he was able to ensure that he won the race in the class, even though he lost a little bit of ground considering the main sprint challenge competitors. But a very fast driver, Sábado Leggeri, and he deserves to be celebrated there. A good chat with Sério Brasil and some of the highlights of Malucelli's drive throughout the race.
Yeah, he pretty much lost positions in the very beginning, on the start of the race, because after that he was able to keep in nice positions, and of course he took advantage of all the incidents ahead of him. But we gotta give him credit because he avoided trouble, and it's always a very important skill to avoid trouble in a race.
Definitely.
He did that.
Yeah, especially in a big grid, as is the case of Porsche Cup Brazil. We have 22 cars, I believe in this Sprint Challenge Championship. So it's sometimes difficult to be out of trouble, as we see now the rookie class podium and the celebrations. Paulo Totaro, Wagner Coach is there as well. In the third spot, we see who is there in the third spot, Sergio?
Claudio Simão,
that's right. Lucas Locatelli and Caio Chaves.
Exactly. So these are the top 5. This is the podium for the Sprint Challenge race. 3 classes, the main class, the
Luke,
sport
tô aqui
class,
com ele, Seba Malucelli, que a gente já tinha conversado, que a sua sorte mudou e agora garantiu sua primeira vitória do ano pela Sport. Tá feliz da vida, né? Não consegue nem respirar direito.
Nem respirar direito, feliz da vida, Gabi. Realmente começar o campeonato em primeiro na categoria esporte é muito, muito bom. Ainda que a gente conseguiu ali se manter perto dos challenges, que são realmente uma categoria acima, um nível de pilotagem melhor, mas a gente vai aos poucos aí lutando para a gente conseguir melhores resultados. E feliz que em Goiânia veio a vitória.
Boa, muito, muito, muito bom falar contigo. Parabéns. O que você espera da corrida de amanhã, em corrida número 2? Vai incomodar de novo?
Pois é, espero de novo ter um bom rendimento. Hoje, no começo da minha corrida, tive um pouco de dificuldade. Acho que poderia ter sido melhor o meu começo, então espero corrigir isso para amanhã ter do início, meio ao fim, uma boa corrida.
Mas agora é hora de comemorar, não é não?
Comemorar muito e descansar para amanhã.
Boa, obrigada, Seba, parabéns. Obrigado. Volto contigo, Luke.
Yeah, we heard from Seba Malucelli celebrating his race win, of course highlighting how important it is to be leading the class right from the first race. Of course, the focus is
aqui,
on the championship run.
E aí, Caio? Que isso?
Caio
você
Chaves.
tá guardando ouro, acho que você tá treinando escondido, não sei, a gente falava há pouco, tinha que ser o Chaves, parabéns. Só 16 anos, tua primeira vitória na categoria, que demais.
Primeira pole já foi coisa de outro mundo e manter isso e conseguir o primeiro lugar da categoria nem imaginava, não sei o que eu tô sentindo agora, porque é muito louco.
O que você achou de mais difícil nessa primeira corrida? Em algum momento você pensou nos seus adversários ou você estava muito confiante? Pelo menos foi isso que você me passou depois de conseguir a pole position, né?
Eu tava bem confiante, mas um pouco ansioso, era a primeira corrida. Logo na largada eu perdi 2 posições, só que eu não desisti, não fiquei abalado, consegui recuperar posição e ainda terminei na frente do que eu comecei, porque questão das outras categorias.
O auge da tua experiência com 16 anos, e amanhã vai gabaritar, vai conseguir mais uma vitória? Como que você tá de expectativa para a corrida número 2?
A gente vai buscar sempre mais uma vitória, ainda mais que hoje, que mostrou que eu consigo, que eu tenho capacidade, e vamos para cima para a segunda vitória.
Bem, obrigada, Caio Chaves. Boa sorte, que você faça uma ótima carreira na Porsche, viu?
Muito obrigado, eu que agradeço.
Nice interview there with Kyle Chaves, winner of the rookie class. Only 16 years old, Sergio, so very young. He managed to grab the pole position there. We saw in the previous broadcast that he was very confident, but he revealed that he was also very anxious. But even though he lost 2 spots in the restart, he was able to recover and win, and now focus on race 2.
Yes, I like this kid, Carlos. Let's see what's the future ahead of him.
Yeah.
We want to thank you all for watching these first 2 races of the Porsche Cup Brazil Championship with us. First, the Carrera Cup race won by Marcel Miller, and the second race won by Miguel. Watch the speed challenge by Miguel Mariotti, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, and bye-bye.